Welcome to the OffGrid podcast, powered by Retreat Caravans. Join us as we dive into the incredible stories of caravanners who've embraced the open road and the off-grid lifestyle. Welcome to another episode of the OffGrid podcast, and I'm your host, Tilly, and today I've got the pleasure of another host of a TV show called Up Downunder, Camper Deals, amongst many more, Jess. Jess, how are you?
Hey, Tilly. So good to see you, mate.
Mate, it's definitely my pleasure. And I'd say, where are you out in the world at the moment? You know, I can see some trees in the background, but where do we have you today?
Today, I'm coming to you from home on the sunny Gold Coast. It's actually a really hot day. Sorry to rub it in for you Victorians down there.
Yeah.
Just sitting in my home office / studio. Sorry about the mess.
No, it looks pretty clean. If you could see the other side of my desk, you would see what a mess would look like. But all the lighting back here, that's not real sun. We've actually staged this office to make it look sunnier than it is because it's miserable outside in Melbourne.
I can believe that. I'm from Victoria originally, and I remember the weather.
Mate, I just wanted to say thank you for getting on the OffGrid podcast. And, you know, for people that are not familiar with you, we'll get into, I guess, your experiences off the grid. But I know that you're an ex-radio hosty. You know, you're a massive fur baby lover. You're a big animal supporter as well. So we'll learn a little bit about that. But also, I know that you've spent a lot of time off grid, whether you've been on shoot with What's Up Downunder, Camper Deals, and all the other shows that you could check out on Network 10. But yeah, we just want to know a little bit about your off-grid lifestyle. So first of all, even going way back when Jess was only this little, you know, were you a young camper with the family, or did you get off-road or off-grid at all?
I sure did. So some of my favorite memories were going away for the school holidays with my grandparents and my cousins and my little brother. So I think mum and dad were pretty happy to ship us off for a few weeks. And the grandparents took us on some awesome adventures in their caravan. And obviously the kids got, popped out in the tent.
Yep.
So camping started quite young for me. And I do have the dream of becoming a grey nomad in my later years as well. So some great memories there. So as I said, coming from Victoria.
Where did you guys go to with the cousins and grandparents?
All over, really, mainly Victoria and around the border. But some of my favourite trips were to Venus Bay. So down in the Gippsland area, Waratah Bay, Venus Bay, 30 odd years ago or more, was just such a small, sleepy beach town. And I haven't been there for a long time. I don't know what it's like now, but yeah, that was one of my favourite places to visit.
I actually won a competition at my previous job, and I won a holiday house, or for the weekend at a holiday house, and it happened to be Venus Bay. So I've been there before. It wasn't much of a competition because I went through winter, but I get what you're saying. It was a fantastic, very calm area, and the water is obviously really close by as well. That was about 10 years ago, and it was really quiet, like you say. The bakery that was there, I definitely remember that. I frequented that a few times.
Yep, hanging out at the milk bar, eating lollies and getting up to mischief with the cousins and, climbing up those.
But what did you do back then? Sorry, I thought that was a now thing.
Oh, no. I still hang down at the milk bar and eat lollies.
But mischief? No more mischief?
Oh, always a bit of mischief, Tilly. You know that.
Fair enough. All right, and then after you grew up a little bit, did you fall in love and have a camper friend, or did you go away with your cousins or your friends or anything like that in your sort of like early adult years?
Yeah, so I guess in my 20s, a popular spot for me and my mates was to go down to Joanna Beach and camp there. Now you've got me thinking about that, where that is. Oh my gosh.
Is it in Victoria?
It is in Victoria, yes.
Okay. Right.
Down, like Great Ocean Road down there.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd spend, New Year's Eve free camping down there, and really, really loved it down there. And then I guess moving into my adult years, I moved up to the Whitsundays in my early 30s with my now husband. Ooh. And we got a pair of jet skis, a pair of old Yamaha 750 Wave Runners, and we got really good at packing up what we needed on the two skis and heading out to the islands and camping there. And sometimes we were lucky enough to be the only people on the island. I mean, there's dozens of islands up there where you can camp, and that was just magic. Nothing like setting up a hammock and sleeping in it overnight. And
That sounds pretty cool because obviously people buy these off-road rigs now to tow a caravan, many, many kilometers around Australia to get to a very secluded spot. And you guys put everything on jet skis and then off you go to your own island.
Absolutely. We got so good at packing everything, and we loved having bacon and eggs in the morning for breakfast. And we even, figured out how to carry eggs on our, in our jet skis, keeping them cool and didn't break them. Like, it was, we had
What was the
really
towing capacity of the jet ski?
Oh gosh, I don't know. But
honestly, that's a pretty bad
pushed
caravan
it.
joke.
we really pushed it, and some days we'd head out for a night or two, and the weather was great and pretty calm up there. And then we had a few hairy moments heading back home when the weather had changed, and coming across the Whitsunday Channel, and a couple of days I didn't know if we'd make it home.
How long were you actually on the water for, going between islands?
Depending where we'd go, sometimes it'd be like a 2 or 3 hour trip. I mean,
oh, really?
Yeah. We really, wherever we had a map, and we'd put a pin in the map and just decide that's where we were heading. And so sometimes it'd be a half an hour trip. Sometimes it'd be a couple of hours, depending on the weather and where we were going.
So if you had to name one of your favorite islands that you've been to, which one wins it?
Oh my gosh, so many to choose from. I guess South Mole was great because it was such a big island and pretty close to town. So if we had visitors coming to stay, that was a nice, easy one. If we had to put people on the back of each skis, it wouldn't freak them out too much. Had an interesting time at one of our South Mole trips where we'd had a few beers, getting loose with a couple of friends, as you do when you're camping. And went down to the water's edge to, wash our dinner dishes at night. And I'm like, oh, it's a bit of a drag mark up there. Maybe we got neighbors with a boat or something. And then in the morning when the sun came up and we had a good look around, it turned out we were camping not too far from a crocodile's nest.
Wow.
So we counted ourselves pretty lucky that we all made it back home in one piece that trip. Crikey, indeed.
No, well, that's I guess a lucky escape of sorts. I'm actually heading up to the Whitsundays myself. I'm going to Hamilton Island in January. So I guess I'll know all about what you're talking about and all the beautiful scenery and all that sort of stuff. Our plan is to do a bit of island hopping and then go up to the Great Barrier Reef as well.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you're going to do some diving while you're there?
Oh, listen, I'm going to throw it out there. I'm not the most competent swimmer. I'm lucky that I'm tall, so when I take the kids to the pool, I can stand. Listen, I want to attempt it, but safety first, of course, Sorry, I've just got a giant bug flying in my office.
Look, if you are going to do it, it's a really great spot to do it and to learn. Beautiful reef up there. And I'm sure your kids will love it.
Yeah, well, didn't say that they were coming, but I'm sure they would love it one day when I take it there. Hopefully,
maybe Hamilton Island with the buggies and the bars might be a bit more the pace. Hey?
Now you're catching my drift, Jess. Now, mate, any caravanning experiences apart from what you do with What's Up Down Under? Were you ever in a caravan as an adult, like as in with your previous friends or any sort of family that you might have travelled in?
Not a caravan so much, but we have hired camper vans for music festivals.
Oh, cool.
And so I know that's a bit different, but we did end up being like the popular ones out of the group when everyone else came with tents, and we had a camper van with a toilet and, a bit of shelter and and all that. And I absolutely love it. I think the caravan lifestyle is going to be so much fun. And I tell you what, hanging out with the WhatsApp crew and yourselves and, learning about all the different caravans out there. I mean, they have come a long way from what I remember as a kid. Yeah. I just can't wait to get into it. I think my husband's actually a little bit worried because I'm spending so much time around you guys and getting the bug. He's worried that I'm going to want the top of the line number when we get there.
At least you'll have a lot of friends that you can speak to choose that caravan for you, right?
Absolutely. I've got so many people I can ask for advice, and I'm learning things along the way on every trip. It's been just such a magic experience. But I think the best thing, aside from the vans and all the gear, like, wow, there's, so much to choose from, is the people that you meet, like yourselves. That's been by far just the best part of this whole experience with the WhatsApp crew.
And that's shared across all of our customers as well. Like obviously they go to caravan hotspots or, caravan parks, and they walk away with great memories and then also great friendships from people that they've just met on the road. Like you said before, caravans have come a long way. I'm about to enter my 14th year in the caravan industry. I can't even believe I'm saying that, because I thought I was going to be here for 6 months helping someone out in the warranty department. 14 years later, I've got a podcast that we're running weekly. So, and just to seeing the transformation from when 14 years ago when I arrived at retreat and, seeing what we're dishing out today, it's unbelievable. Besides the internal and external look of caravans and how they're made with the material, just the technologies that are used in it and how it really allows that off-grid lifestyle. Because let's face it, Jess, back in the day, the great Aussie dream was to own your own land, right? Now it's the great Aussie dreams to say, well, stuff everyone. I'm getting in a car, I'm getting in a caravan, and I'm going. I'm working on the road. I'm traveling. I'm seeing the country. That's what the new great Aussie dream is, from what I think from speaking to people.
Absolutely. And, I can see the attraction there and why you've stuck in that industry, because once you get a taste for it, you just want to explore more. And we are so lucky to live in this amazing country, and it's so huge. And I mean, it really is all of our backyards, and why not? Why not get a van and get a piece of it all rather than just trying to get a piece for yourself? Yeah.
Correct. No, well, very well said. Now, speaking of being in the industry, as I mentioned before, you are one of the hot new hosts on What's Up Down Under, and, Mac has got a little bit of, I guess, accountability to keep you honest and you keep him honest. Shout out to Pink Cupcakes as well. He's obviously a massive watcher of the show. How has it been being, I guess, front and center on one of the most popular caravan shows every Saturday, without doubt, and then obviously some of their offspring shows that, might feature on Channel 10 Bold and things like that. It's a giant responsibility because, everyone knows Macca for this show, and soon enough, everyone's going to, think about his co-host being just keeping him honest.
Oh, trying to keep Macca honest. Wow. No, I got to tell you, I have never laughed and smiled so much in my life as I have hanging out with Macca and Robbie. They are just two of the most beautiful people. And they really are just like what you see on camera. They are just the most fun-loving, honest, genuine people. Macca is an absolute crack up. I was a little bit nervous about the first time we were shooting because he knows everything back to front. But he was just so supportive and, showed me the ropes. He's taught me so much. And I had so much fun hosting with him. I guess Tough Tested was the first, getting thrown in the deep end. And wow, what an absolute blast that was.
Because that's where we first met, right? At Tough Tested as well.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
He's good to work with. Obviously, you mentioned Robbie as well. How she juggles her working life as a new mum. She's got very supportive parents, which go on all the shoots as well. It's unbelievable. But yeah, the whole crew, your crew that you work with, led by, of course, Colin was Perot. But yeah, it's a remarkable job that everyone at What's Up Down Under are doing, showing our customers the experience that you can get from having a caravan or, in a camper van or just staying at a caravan park. Because let's face it, everyone's got a different version of what they think is freedom, right? So everyone's sort of like trying to get to their paradise, whichever way that might look. And we just try to bring it to everyone on What's Up Down Under. And stay tuned. There's a lot of things that we're doing in 2024. There might be a music festival on the cards, Jess. So we might see you at that music festival. Wink, wink.
Don't mind me a bit of music festival. And that's just made me think of, there's so many great memories from the trips I have had with these guys so far, but I've got to say it's, when the cameras stop rolling and we're sitting around the campfire around someone's cabin and the guitars come out and Cole and Wazza are playing and everyone's singing. I mean, they are just some really magic moments.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I wanted to also talk about, you've seen a lot of caravans, like you said, through Tough Tested, through Camper Deals. What are some of the more interesting things you've seen on caravans?
I guess, all the off-grid capabilities. I wasn't expecting there to be so much, power and options to take things off grid and off road for, long amounts of time. And I think like when we actually bite the bullet and go and do it ourselves, that will be really important to us. Now, I love being remote and being away from everyone. As social as I am, I love getting away. but I do love my creature comforts too. So knowing that, I'm going to be able to have everything that I want while I'm away, if we're well planned and well set up, that's a massive bonus for us.
Imagine this. You're in the middle of absolutely nowhere. You could fire up the coffee machine. You can get the hairdryer out. You can get some toasties done in the, the old, what do they call it? The George Foreman, all off grid.
And cranking some tunes while you do it, most importantly.
100%, you've got to have some tunes. Now, advice, right? So you've seen a fair bit in your time in the caravan industry, and I know that you've just been with us for just shy of a year now. What advice would you give to people who are looking for their first caravan? So with your previous experience in camping and seeing all these fantastic caravans that feature on all of the fantastic shows, what advice do you give people?
I think really get to know what it is that you want. Think about where you want to go and what you want to do. That'll, help you make a decision about what's going to suit you. Definitely.
Yeah.
Go and have a look at all the vans. Ask a lot of questions from people like yourselves that know it inside and out. Ask all the nitty gritties. Think about it. Think about, is it a family? Is it just the couple? Like for me, one thing I've really figured out, and I know this sounds crazy, but it's an absolute no-brainer for me. When we do get our van, it has to have a king bed. We've got a king bed at home, and I find when we go traveling, like stay in a hotel, if it's a smaller bed, I'm just constantly pushing my husband over, and he does.
Is he a bit of a blanket thief?
He's a bit of a blanket thief, and he snores, you see. So I have to put like a pillow wall in between us. Yeah. So the king bed is a must for us. And we're lucky we don't, have the need to worry about accommodating kids. Yeah. So we could splurge on that extra space with the bed. We do have a dog we might take with us. But even then, I'm thinking when we do travel, just us would be so much easier. No animals. We can go to national parks, all that sort of jazz. Yeah.
Oh, that's some good advice. Nice. Now, Jess, I've got to ask you, right? Can you give us a professional outro before I wrap it up, right? Give us a professional outro of if we were doing a shoot right now on What's Up Down Under, having this off-grid podcast, how would you end it, right? Ooh. And I'm just standing there looking like, don't know what's going on. End it for us, Jess.
Okay, here we go. Well, there you go, guys. You heard it from the man himself, Tilly. If you want to find out any more about Retreat Caravans or their awesome off-grid podcast, head to retreatcaravans.com.au/podcast. Jess, what a professional podcast that was. Now, I'm not even going to try and compete with that. I'm just going to let everyone know that if they want to see you on the social media, clearly they can see you on What's Up Down Under, Camper Deals. Any other shows you want to give a plug? Yeah, Tough Tested, of course. You can catch them all on Template. And I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys and the What's Up crew into 2024 and making some more magic memories.
Ladies and gentlemen, the host with the most, thank you very much, Jess. And one day we'll see each other off grid.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Tilly. Great to see you again.
No problems, Jess. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Off Grid Podcast. If you're passionate about off-grid adventures and have a unique story, we'd love to have you on as a guest. Connect with us to share your experiences and inspire others with your off-grid journey. Remember, life is an adventure meant to be lived off the grid. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories, helpful tips, and exciting adventures. This is the Off-Grid Podcast, powered